So in this video, I'm going to cover how to know the point of interest that you want to see price come back to mitigate after a significant 4-hour break of structure. And the first thing to note is our point of interest still remains a monthly fair value gap, resting right here. And if we scale down to weekly, the monthly fair value gap aligns with a weekly fair value gap as well, resting right here. Let me outline that monthly fair value gap. So right here is the monthly fair value gap, and if we go to weekly, you can see the monthly fair value gap aligns with this weekly fair value gap, this weekly fair value gap. This one here failed, so this is the one we're working with. Now you can see that the weekly is a lot more precise than the monthly. The monthly is wide. So if we see a significant 1-hour break of structure, we'll be looking for a retest. Now I'm going to outline how to anticipate the key levels price will retest and what to anticipate to see. Firstly, we want to see a 4-hour break of structure. Right here, this is our high, this is our low on 4-hour time frame. Keep it simple. This is how I know the high and the low, lower highs and lower lows, and right here we've broken structure. So after a break of structure, it's ideal for me to see a retest. The retest could be shallow, price can come into a shallow area and continue higher, or it can come into mid-range and continue higher, or it can decide to come in at the extreme and continue higher. One thing to take note of is nobody actually knows which of these the market will do. Two things you can do. You can either place a limit order at one of the areas, maybe a fair value gap, using the overall low as stop loss. Don't ever use any range here, even including here. Don't even use any of this range as stop loss, because the market could actually be hunting for that only to take it and reverse. Now that being said, we take all this off. What we now do is we start to look for points of interest. In this case, you basically need to turn to a detective to look for these points of interest price could potentially come into. And to keep it simple, you can mark out this fair value gap on 18-hour time frame. You can see the 18-hour time frame makes it a lot easier for you to just focus on one key level, which is this. So you can literally just say, I'm using an 18-hour time frame fair value gap because it's made everything so clear. And you wait in here. Once you see a 30 minutes break of structure in here, you look for a buy. Let me remove everything from my chart, and you can see very clearly a low, a high, a low, a break of structure. It's ideal to see a retest. That being said, now 18-hour time frame can make it a lot easier for you, so you're not stressing. If price comes in here, you see a 30 minutes break of structure. Why 30 minutes? 1, 2, 3. If you see a 30 minutes break of structure in here, you're looking for a buy. You're targeting low resistance liquidity. Resting right here. Despite the fact that the high will potentially get taken, I won't be surprised to see a new all-time high, but it's not guaranteed. Price can still mitigate this fair value gap and reverse and come deeper, wipe most of your profits. So it's best to get out once we are around these key levels, because if we even use the Fibonacci from the high to the low, you can see this is extreme premium. You don't want to be in the market for a buy when price is at extreme premium. You want to be taking out profits, trailing your stop loss deep into profits. Now that being said, if you want to be a little bit more precise, you can start to scale down to 4-hour time frame. And a 4-hour time frame is a little bit more complicated. There's a lot of fair value gaps here. And if you even scale down to 1 hour time frame, you can see 1 hour time frame, we have a lot of fair value gaps. Fair value gap here, low resistance liquidity here, fair value gap here, fair value gap here, fair value gap here. A lot of fair value gaps. So which one do you work with? You can decide if you want to take the risk. If price comes down in here, you can wait for 5 minutes break of structure, 15 minutes break of structure. You can look for a buy. But take note, you can still get wiped out and price will come lower. And you could buy here, price could give you a break of structure, wipe you out to come lower. So two things that I do in situations like this is I put my limit order at this low end. Just for whatever reason, let's say price, maybe high impact news drops down here, it will activate me for first entry. If it breaks structure, I'll look for re-entry. If that doesn't happen and it comes in within this yellow range and I see a 30 minutes break of structure to the upside, I'll look for a buy to buy it and continue higher. Whatever limit order I set here, if it doesn't activate, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, nobody knows which particular area price will tap and reverse. The only thing we do know is we are bullish. And there's a very high probability that price will continue higher. So we're looking for areas, the best possible areas to buy. And those areas, number one area is this yellow zone, which is our 18-hour fair value gap. This right here is our 18-hour fair value gap. So does that make sense? If you do have any questions, feel free to drop it.